Hello viewers. I'm happy and delighted to be back and speaking to you today. As usual, your host Evelyn Selena. This is Evelyn Selena's show and I'm glad today to speak to you about crop rotation. If you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe, hit the notification button so that you're notified anytime we upload any videos. And if you love this content, please like so that we're able to reach out to as many farmers as possible. Crop rotation involves a lot of planning. It requires you to do a program so that you're able to determine the kind of crops you will be growing. As we all know that during cropping and production, we have crops that are heavy feeders. We have others that are light feeders. They're not very heavy feeders. We have leguminous crops. These are crops that will input nitrogen into your soil, and at the same time then it means we have crops that add nutrients into the soil, and there are others that are very good at just picking everything in the soil. So why you need a lot of planning is because you need to understand the kind of crops you will be planting, you intend to be planting, and that will enable you to do a good crop rotation. Why crop rotation? One is reduced pest and disease buildup. You know, when you continue to plant the same crop or crops from the same family, these crops from the same family share pests. They also share a quite wide range of diseases, and therefore you will continue to spread and to transfer the diseases from the previous crop to the crop that you intend to plant. So when you, like for example, if you plant crops from the same family and you had pests infesting the same crop this season, if you plant crop the similar crop next season, or crops from the same family, then you are sure to transfer the same pests that you had, you transfer the same diseases that you had, and this is transferred. Some will remain in the soil and also some will remain in the crop debris that you harvested last season, because sometimes you're not able to remove everything 100% from your farm. So it's very important that you do crop rotation so that you avoid such things, that you're able to. Doesn't mean that if you do crop rotation you'll not have pests and diseases. Of course we'll have, but this reduces the chances of transferring the same pests that you had. Also it limits the number of pests, because imagine if you had potatoes and you had potato pests, then you you plant again similar crop, you plant potatoes, you'll still have the same pests, and then now more pests that probably will be infesting your crop. So please consider that when you want to do farming. Ensure to determine initially the kind of crops you want to be planting so that you're able to draw a good plan. The second thing is that it gives the soils better tilth, because we have crops that are deep rooted, others are shallow rooted. So when you diversify these crops, it will be improved for the fact that you're rotating between deep rooted and shallow rooted crops. It's very important. Number 3 is soil nutrient addition. We have crops, especially the leguminous crops. Sometimes you plant crops that are very heavy feeders, then they extract everything that is in the soil, even if not everything, but they are very heavy feeder, and that they almost exhaust your soils. So when you rotate that with leguminous crops, you know, a lot of leguminous crops will enhance soil nutrients. Doesn't mean that if you plant soil leguminous crops you will not do the normal manure addition and fertilizer addition, but your soils will have been enhanced by just the fact that you planted a leguminous crop that will add nitrogen into your soil. It is very important that you understand your program, so that you know that last time I had a heavy feeder, this time round I want to plant a crop that will plow back nutrients into the soils. Another benefit is crop diversification. People that have vast lands, pieces of lands, or people that are just having a small piece of land in their backyard, when you have a crop rotation program based on the size of land or based on your interests, if you have a well-established crop rotation program, sometimes you can divide your piece of land, even if it means your backyard. you divide it into several pieces, like 4. A lot of people would adopt 4 depending on what you're planting. Or if you're doing commercial planting, of course sometimes you may want to plant a monocrop throughout, but of course that is different because you will adopt other means like leaving your land fallow, planting leguminous crops that sometimes will not even harvest but plow it back to the soil. So if you have you want to plant different varieties of crops, a crop rotation program comes in handy because it enables you to have diversified crops. Leguminous crops on one side, brassicas on the other side, you may have solanaceae on the other side. So that means you have the benefit of diversification. You will have a lot of varieties of crops, and of course with proper management. Another importance of crop rotation is increased food productivity. When you have pieces of land that you are able to subdivide and get different varieties of crops at the same time, then it means your family will be food self-sufficient. And especially if you're doing a kitchen garden, you will have the advantage or the benefits of being food self-sufficient. And in the current world where we think things are tough, if you have your own backyard and you've planted a variety of crops, and you will have a lot of benefits in the long run. You know, when you have your spinach at the backyard, you have your spring onions probably at the backyard. This will always impact, this will always help enable you to save. Another importance of crop rotation is increased productivity. When you have a well elaborate crop rotation program, it means that you have put in place factors and measures that will enable you plant crops that will plow back nutrients into the soil. You know, your soil is already enhanced, your nutrients is already enhanced, even though you'll still be putting a lot of normally your nutrients requirements for the crop you're planting for the same season, but your soils will be enhanced. You've taken care of the soil nutrients, you've taken care of reducing pests and diseases, so you crop productivity is enhanced. To talk about crop rotation also enhances crop vigor. Why crop vigor? Is that imagine you had planted a deep-rooted crop, that means the soil till is good, and then plant a shallow-rooted crop. It means that the till is good, and all these also come in to enhance the crop vigor. So crop vigor will be enhanced due to the adoption of crop rotation program. All this also is also determined by the kind of seed you planted, so that you don't just do a very well elaborate crop rotation program. As you do a well elaborate crop rotation program, then it means you have adopted all other factors that should remain constant. You have certified seeds, you have the crop history, so that you're already aware of the previous season crop. You have taken care of your nutrients, you've done your soil samples. All these factors all add up into also increasing productivity, but crop rotation is one of the other benefits of good crop agronomic practices. As we adopt crop rotation, a must understand is that one, you must not plant a crop in continuous seasons. Like plant this season potatoes, then harvest them and redo potatoes again, because that is what most of our farmers do. They just harvest and plow back immediately. They say, I don't want to incur a lot of cost of plowing back again, so I want to plant immediately after harvesting. So that is not very good. But you do not plant similar crops following each other immediately after the previous season. So always adopt a crop rotation program, even if it's not very well established, but just ensure that you do not plant crops from the same family in the following season. And especially those who are doing seed, crop rotation is key. It comes in handy. Like if you're doing potatoes, please ensure you do not plant for 4 seasons. Skip that piece of land. Why? Because you want to give to the world what is best, what you will also want the world to give back to you. Because if you do not adopt crop rotation and you're doing seed bulking, then it means you will continuously transfer a lot of diseases, and you may not be able to establish what exactly is the problem of producing that you encountered during your seed production, because other problems will have been inherited from the previous crop. It reduces the chances of disease recurrence. It reduces the chances of pest recurrence. It also reduces the chances of not doing well in nutrition balancing, because as you know, some crops, especially potatoes, are heavy feeders, and therefore they will have exhausted nutrients in the soil, even though you will be adding fertilizer. So always, as you also adopt a good cropping season, as you adopt good crop rotation program, please ensure there are factors in agriculture that remain constant. Use certified seeds. Ensure your seeds are pure and clean. Also, weed at the correct time. Do all the other agronomic practices. Ensure that you prevent attack from pests and diseases. It doesn't mean they will not really recur, but preventive measures are better than just waiting to cure when a disease already has arisen. Also, continuous scouting is key. Do not forget that. That comes in handy. So it doesn't mean that if you adopt a very well established crop rotation program that you're 100% safe. It only means that you are a step ahead into your production and productivity. So in the next video, we'll be discussing more on agriculture. See you then.